could have been a statistic and just went down some different path. I didn't.
They're not really worried about keeping you. They're just more worried about losing you.
I didn't feel confident in myself. I was always feeling like I was bad or wrong. How are you marrying your passion with your purpose?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a whole other thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, two things I just thought of when you were talking about this in general. It's like, in my counseling sessions, you know, I was doing a lot of work, EMDR therapy, and it's supposed to help you to work on childhood traumas. You know, I have complex trauma, so it's like working on rewiring your brain. And so it's like I could have a conversation. I'm a very aware person, right? And so as I'm going through the divorce, I'm obviously devastated, but I'm a logical, rational person. And so I feel as though crying and just being all sad and down and out is not productive. I'm like, yeah, of course you're sad. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps and let's keep it moving, you know? And so I told my counselor, like, I just feel like I cried enough, you know? I'm kind of just moving on. And she said, okay, well, you can't just do that. So there's that. And then all this childhood stuff we're working on, it's all contributing. And if we can get through this, it's going to be better. But she said, Alicia, do you know, like, your whole concept of your life and yourself is that you're a bad girl. Like, if everything we talked about is Alicia is bad. And that hit me because I'm like, that's true. Just it all circles back to Alicia is bad. And so she said, but do you believe that? Do you know that you're not bad? And I said, let me be clear. I know in my heart that I am not bad. I know that. But to believe that is a lot harder to consistently do because you're always, that gauge of ourselves is like, I'm not enough, not enough. And so I started to remember that, like, knowing it and believing it, like, I know it in myself. I am a good person. I've worked hard. I wouldn't be here without it. But, you know, I got to believe it too. So, yeah, I think about that, and that's just been crazy. And then just I think my former leader, my mentor that gave me this opportunity that changed my focus and how I see myself, he'd always say things like, inaction is a choice, Alicia. Not doing something is a choice. When I got the option to come to the hospital, he said, are you chasing something? Or are you going towards something? Like, you know, are you running away? Or are you going towards something? Like, what is your, like, kind of what we're talking about right now? And then my executive coach, a friend of mine, she actually said, well, Alicia, you're, you know, 39 years old. You've done all these great things. You're telling me that you don't think that you're good, but your story alone that you've just told me is phenomenal. And I always doubt it because I didn't go to some prestigious school. I didn't come for money, or I always feel like I don't fit in. So then I think that also leads to the imposter syndrome sometimes too, but I become more empowered because I left a place where I was in this culture where it was like, oh, everything I did was questioned. You know, there had to be one guy that had to say, oh, where'd you get that data set? Or why did you do that when everyone else is shouting from the rooftops? And there's always going to be that guy, you know. But this is a moment where my focus and my value changed. So 3 months prior to when I got the job offer to go into sales, again, I wasn't looking for work. I'm just chugging along, and the pandemic's going on. And it's rough working in healthcare, you know. I'm like, oh. So I asked for the first time in my entire career in healthcare to see if I could have an evaluation of my pay to make it so that I could at least make the bare minimum of what my role should make. And both my, you know, leaders, CFO included, was like, yep, we're doing this. But then they had to get approval from somebody else, you know. And that individual said, no, you know, we're not going to do that. Maybe in the spring we can consider it or whatever. And it was like a drop in the bucket compared to what you know. And so I asked why, what's the rationale? Like, did I do something, you know? And they apologized and said, we want to give this to you yesterday. You deserve this and more. And so then 3 months later, I was like, whatever, I'll wait until the spring and I'll ask again. 3 months later, I got the job offer to go into sales. And I took the job, and I called my boss, who I love. She's still a very close friend of mine, and told her what happened, and she was elated for me. And then she called me back and said, hey, so-and-so that told you no about that increase, he wants to know how much money it would take for you to stay here. And I said, I'd like you to remind him that I asked one time in my entire career, I'm not interested. And whatever that number is, I'm out of here. And that's what you need to know. Like, this is the stuff that organizations need to understand. Like, value those people that have been there, like, in the trenches, working their way up, doing that stuff for you. Like, those are the people you need to be lifting up. And so, like, same as you felt, I don't like to feel like, I'm not a vengeful person or like, ha, 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 you know, I don't like that. But I did kind of feel that a little bit. I felt empowered, I guess, is more probably what I felt. Like, hey, I gave you the opportunity to save this employee, and then you decide not to, so.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, and there's so much of a see my value was what you were asking about.
Yeah.
It was, yes, it was the pay, but it's also really hard to ask leaders, show me how valuable I am to you without it being a monetary in the moment.
Yes.
You know, and the loss of people tells you a lot of they're not really worried about keeping you. They're just more worried about losing you,
Yes.
which is two very different headspaces about how you think about people all the time.
Exactly.
Just like in every relationship we're in, if you only work on it when the person threatens and you only work on it when it's terrible, then you're only worried about losing it. You're not worried about keeping it. And that's just so much of just every day, the way that we treat people and the way that we see people. And, you know, like the team I have now and anybody that I get to go speak to, I was just in North Carolina speaking to a team, and there's not a second that I'm thinking about getting anything from them.
No.
I'm thinking about giving everything I have every time because of how I see them.
Yes.
I'm not seeing them as somebody who needs my help. I'm seeing them as somebody that is trying to do the best they can at what they do all the time. And they're just, you know, some of mine, right? Taking a chance, taking a risk on me.
Yep.
Which again is some of my old stuff popping up. But it's also how you phrase those things starts with how you think about those things. You know, and so if that person would have come back to you and said, you know, there's value here. Here's the number we really want to get to. We really want to keep you. Here's what we're going to do, like provided more certainty than just dismissal. But again, this is something that people do all the time. Again, I've left some jobs and they're like, what's it going to take for you to stay? And like that decision was made years ago when you chose not to invest.
Right.
With people like us that are like constantly trying to grow and do the thing.
Yes.
And it's just, but not all leaders are kind of wired in the same way of invest in my people and give to them. Some are more focused on they're in the role that they want, and everybody else should just respect that and be happy that they have a job. I've even had some executives tell me you should just be fortunate that you're still here. And like during COVID, they're like, you should just be glad we didn't get rid of you. Like that's not a space to, but now I know how you think about me all the time.
Right.
So the rest of your decisions make sense.
Exactly. And this is probably not a place I'm going to want to spend much more of my time.
Correct. And I didn't.
Right.
It was like 6 months later, I was, you know, grateful for all of it, but also understanding like following great leadership really starts with great human management and people ship, right?
Yes.
And just understanding like but that's so much about the work that our leaders have done tells us so much about who they are for us and with us. And, you know, like some of the examples that I've seen you lead in some capacity, but like you lead from a place of belief, accountability, challenge people, not because they can't, but because they can.
Yes.
And so how did you kind of get to that space to where you lead in a way that you've probably been effectively led?
This is the part where I feel like I can confidently say that I have good people skills because of the awareness, right? Like so I care so much about making sure that everybody has a voice. It means so much to me because I've been someone who's grown up without a voice or having grown up in a space where I said like this area of any hospital is usually not appreciated at the most, you know, as other areas. And so because I grew up in that same space where I didn't feel appreciated as a child, I didn't feel appreciated having grown up in this certain area of the industry. And so knowing that my shift was when I got to go into sales, and I was like, wow, somebody's seeing something in me that these guys here have always made me feel like maybe I'm not good enough or something. Like, good enough, you know, is another thing too. Like, of course, we're all good enough. We're all good enough, but we do that, you know.
We're all good enough.
Yeah,
you get double points at the camera for that.
But you know, it's like I'm good enough for this. I can do this, and so that was a pivotal moment for me too. That I realized I'm always looking internally, like, well, what did I do bad? Because I'm bad, right? So it's like, well, if someone is upset or something's off, it's likely me. First, it's me that I got to look at, and then it's everybody else. I can try to see how I can help them because I've probably been the problem or something. But I got into this, I think, because I did this work, and I always wish that I had leaders that actually spent the time to help me to figure out how to better do my work and be open and safe to ask questions and learn. And so because I know I need that, that's how I lead people too. So like I said, I show up just like this. day one, I'm cracking jokes. I'm making sure people are, no one's coming in like, oh, I'm buttoned up and all this. I'm like, relax, I'm taking up room. Like, just, you don't have to be in whatever you think you have to be worried about. There's no need. I'm here on this team just like you, and we have some work we need to do together, so let's do that. But it's been so fun for me. In my previous role, when I was in the hospital the first time, I had 70 team members that reported to me. And now coming back to the provider side and having people reporting to me again, I actually enjoyed not having any direct reports when I was in sales. I told Paul that. I'm like, I like kind of being an individual contributor. But then I also do love leading people. And by that, I mean just elevating people to see their talent and their skill set that they don't even see, because I know that's what I need too, or needed, and still always do. But that is why I came in. So it's been so eye-opening and fun for me when I came in, because I did a survey of all the team to understand, like, hey, I just want to know about you. Share anything you want me to know about you, your family, your background, anything. Ask me anything, whatever. I'm an open book. And so we get on these calls and they're saying things like, thank you so much. We haven't had, a department meeting in like years, or you're the first person that's ever come to me and talked to me one-on-one, Alicia. I can't believe that you gave me your time and that you're doing this with everybody. You're so busy. And like but I couldn't do any of this stuff without you guys. So it's like, thank you. But also I'm sorry that this is the first time that's happened, but I appreciate you saying that. This should be a thing that people do. I'm like, what a concept. Go to the people that do the work, and they laugh, I'm like, but that's as easy as it really is. Like, just respect and treat people like a human being, and imagine that, you can get things done together. So
yeah. Well, and you create, it's a term I've used a lot, and I again talked about it this past week, but psychological safety.
Yes.
And really just emotional safety, and people talk about, I love when people talk about gratitude and mindset being a soft skill. It really kind of like jazzes me up, because I can't wait to chat with them more about what hard skills are, because although the opposite of soft in this scenario isn't hard, it's more, I'd say, transformational versus transactional.
Yes.
Like, what can you do for me is more the hard skill.
Yes.
Right. But the how can you give to our team and our customers, no matter what industry you're in, is the most impactful thing that often gets phrased as the soft skill.
Yes.
And soft in emotion, but all we are as humans is built on connection and emotion. And once we start to recognize that who we are and what we do matters to the people that we're getting to do it for, we start to build a connection, just like you had said. Like, you start to build a connection right out of the gate, because you're actually seeing them. And the power of a leader to actually authentically, it's going to take some humility, right? But to see everybody as they are. And there's this really great quote, and I don't even really know who said it. I just heard it and it just stuck with me. I don't love it totally, but it makes sense. But if you start to treat people as if they could be, or talk to them like they could be, then they start acting like they should be.
Oh, yes.
And so I kind of have this unique kind of assessment, if you will. It's not like a data like you would love, but it's actually just like my internal measure of everybody that I get to work with ever, no matter what role, no matter if I meet with them once a year or twice a year or 50 times a year. But this really deep sense of, are you fulfilled in what you're doing? Is there anything that I can help you do to grow? And have you fulfilled are you meeting your potential?
Yes.
And so for the first 3 years in this role that I'm at the lake, I basically just said, we're going to get there. And people said, okay, like, what do you mean there? Like, I already had a clear vision of how we would communicate with each other, how we would handle adversity, how we would handle change, how we would do everything that we do, and how we would treat each other and talk to each other, and how we would thrive on growth and change and uncertainty and all these different things. I knew, not because of me, but because of them, but I knew what they were capable of. And to see that, like, as a leader, truthfully, and just even as people, like, whenever I speak and somebody has an insight, it's everything.
Yes.
Because I know I've been in the stage and had the insight. And like, I know what that feels like. And it's like, they knew me. And I have people all the time say, I feel like you know me because you say the things that I needed to hear right in the moment.
Yes.
And that's the hope, is because sometimes when you're going through tough things, isolation is the first feeling that you have.
Yes.
Like it's going through you. And we talked a little bit about this kind of pregame. There are maybe some things that are typical in a journey. But typically those are things we only see from a distance and through a very narrow lens. But the things that are meant for you in your journey so that you can then go impact the people in the world in the way that you have, like that's where I want people to settle in.
Yes.
Not trying to follow me on social media and try to mimic what I'm doing or people ask me, what books are you reading? What are you listening to? And all of these things, of which I'm more than happy to share all those things. But it's a matter of like, find you in all of those things.
Yes.
You know, and these days we have more and more people that are sharing messages like what you were sharing and what, you know, like Brene Brown with her, you know, Dare to Lead and her vulnerability and just all of that, like her telling a new story is easy for her now, but it took a lot for her to get there.
Oh, yeah.
But she has so many great tools that kind of help you go from feeling insecure and unsure to certain in yourself, not the outcome, but then also prepared for the moments that you need strength.
Right.
You know,
because they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. And we're not choosing an easy path.
No.
Right. Everything you've been up to this point hasn't been an easy path, but it's been a meaningful path.
Yes.
You know, and so I just appreciate all of that kind of weaving in some of that. And, you know, hopefully, you know, with the imposter syndrome piece too, is it's just, like I said, there's some affirmations that I do. There's also like I allow myself. I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you find that you worry about letting your guard down if you feel like you've made it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like if I tell you that I've made it,
whatever that means.
Yeah. First of all, I don't have any, you know, illusions of grandeur, like delusions of grandeur where I need all this money and I have some set thing that I'm going to be like, yeah, that's when I make it. I honestly just want to live every day and feel like I'm the best person I can be, better than Alicia yesterday, and have financial freedom in that I don't have to worry about, you know, covering things that I would need to in my life and to live a nice life doing things that I'd like to do. It's as simple as that. But I also have, you know, many friends and family and all the people that support me and that are like my hype men all the time. And they're like, oh my God, you know, you're like the big wig and all this stuff. I'm like, no, you know, I just never, ever see that. And I never feel like I've made it. Or if I agree with them, I might say, you know, I've done pretty well for myself, you know, considering the circumstances. Like I always have to minimize it.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that how you handle most compliments as well, no matter what the compliment is?
I started to, or like I told you, self-deprecating. Like if someone's like, "Oh, Alicia, I love your hair," I'm like, "I haven't washed it in a week. Thank you." You know, this is day 7.
It's a deflect, right?
Like
okay.
I'm just like, "Thanks, but here's all the flaws you didn't see." Or you know, a woman compliments my outfit or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." It's, you know, I have to give all the stuff that they don't see because I want them to know that I'm not just like this or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like people just expect that you're doing things right all the time, or I don't know.
Yeah, and there's because I've kind of had the same thing throughout my whole life, like really hard on myself and never really feeling like I was ever enough of anything. Not saying that I wasn't good enough, but like I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't fast enough, I wasn't strong enough, I wasn't fit enough, I wasn't whatever, right? Well read enough, didn't all, you know. But it's just this idea of receiving a compliment versus agreeing with it and having it impact your humility.
Yes.
There's a sweet spot there of like when you give somebody a compliment, it's really just you acknowledging them and seeing them.
Oh,
you
and
know?
I love to give a true compliment. You know, I love it because I love to light someone up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, the switch that I had to make in my life is I love to do the same thing. Like I see people and actually help them see their light a little bit. But what I was recognizing is I was depriving people of that. Because all I was constantly doing was flipping the shade down every time somebody tried to shine a light on me.
Right. So you're not leading by behavior. Like,
yeah. So it's like, well, wait, I love when they do the thing and they receive it. Yeah. So then I thought like, I'm cheapening their compliment by, you know, like, and I grew up the same way, like my whole family, like if I compliment my mom on a shirt that she's wearing and she was like, $7 at Target.
That's me
like,
every time. I'm like, no. $5 10 years ago.
Yeah. I was like, I just receive it because like then it feels like, oh, this old thing kind of energy, but it's also how you want people to feel when they see you.
Yes.
You know, and that's just my own thing that I'm trying to do better with now. Because trust me, it's not that I necessarily believe when somebody gives me a compliment on something. I honestly, authentically appreciate it.
Yes.
But I'm also, my head's going to fit in every door
Yes.
that I'm ever going to be in. And I'm always going to see myself, kind of two thoughts. One, always going to see myself as an ordinary guy with extraordinary purpose.
Yes.
Right? So like nothing special about me in the sense that I've started to try to do something special with my life.
Right.
You know, but then also this idea of always climbing the hill. You know, people have said a wolf, a lion. I don't care. I like lions. I'm going to say the lion.
Yeah.
But the one always pursuing, but also still enjoying the view. Also trying to bring as many others with me as possible, but always climbing. Not out of deficit, but out of purpose and passion and growth and desire.
Yes.
Like that kind of growth, as opposed to like a fat cat that doesn't hunt. That literally there's videos of like male lions just sitting there so full, and like a little gazelle just walks right by it, and they just look at it like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be, I'm good.
I don't need to do anymore. I'm fine.
Yeah. Because
I don't have that. I don't think I have that.
no.
I'm also grateful though, but it's a blessing and a curse. Unrelenting standards. I don't want to be having them all the time, but they also fuel me so I continue to grow. So it's like.
Correct. Yeah. It's just the sweet spot of recognition, I think, more than anything.
Yes.
You know, when they get out of balance is when we start to lose that sense of recognition. But, okay. One last question for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel like, because you said this is who you are all the time, right? And how do you manage that? How do you feel like in the relationship that you're loving and all of that now, how do you feel like you manage kind of when he compliments you, or when, like some of these things as human things that we're talking about? How do you feel like you manage it in your relationships too?
It's a little bit different, I feel like. I portray this super macho, like masculine outside, you know, I'm like unstoppable or something.
Sure.
And but I'm also kind and sweet and stuff. So I feel like with him, I usually I'll say thank you, or you know, I do get giddy, like thank you, you know. It's easier because I'm like, oh, that's my partner and it makes me happy. But then I usually always hit him back instead. I'll go, no, you're better. No, you know, I'm like, no, that's you. No, and then we just argue or whatever. But sometimes I'm like, that was pretty good, huh? I can do it more with him. Like, I'll actually say, can I have a minute? I just want to tell you something I'm a little proud of. That's how I do it. I'm like, can I tell you something I'm proud of? But I feel awkward about saying it. But he's one of the few people I feel like I can say that I'm proud out loud and not feel bad about it. He's like, you shouldn't feel bad about it. There's nothing to feel bad about. You should feel proud. And it's like, oh, what a concept. If I could just be like, I now feel proud and I don't have anxiety. And all of that, you know? Yeah. Like, I don't know. But I do take it. Yeah, it's better from him, I think. I take it differently,
Yeah, well, when we, you know, you probably also have a circle of people in your life. What that word was small circle, which is mine. But you have more friends and family that you talked about, like kind of your hype group. Again, my family's great. I have some really close, great friends for me that their words mean something different, even when they're just encouraging me. You know, like normally that doesn't do much to me when somebody's like, oh my gosh, you're great. Like it doesn't really like make me change how I feel about myself. My goal is I hope there was some sort of impact. But those people who hold me accountable, those people who challenge me, who celebrate me. And so the thing I'm trying to really learn, also the reason why I asked that question is there's something intentional there about like the person's intentions that we trust.
Yes.
We trust that they know us, like all of us. But also there's something that I've had to learn in my life too, is like actually opening up and showing myself, all of myself to my circle. Yes. Has then made me trust when they actually give me feedback. Yes. But most of the people in my life, like everyone else, doesn't really know all the things about all of me. And that's more about a me thing, not really willing to do that. It's not about them being the type of person who could hear it. But it just made me think a little bit about kind of like the journey that you're on and that we're all on, right? We're all healing from something. We're never healed, right? And so, but I also commend that for you and the relationship that you're in to kind of be, the most authentic version of yourself all the time.
Yes.
And also know, like, hey, I'm learning how to navigate all this because
Right.
you're accomplishing some amazing things, and some people are telling you, and you just don't know how to do with
Right.
it. But like even the wins with your team, like you're quick to celebrate wins.
Yes.
Authentically, give them credit when they need it, give them responsibilities and celebrate them when they accomplish it. And so you're so good at all of that. And just also knowing like you couldn't be good with that if it wasn't inside of you
Yes.
already. And so I honor that about you and just kind of your journey of kind of celebrating where you've been, where you are, where you're going, but in the most present way.
Yes.
You're not like pursuing a title and pursuing a certain paycheck and
No.
pursuing all these things. But a lot of people do. They get stuck in this, I'll be happy when, I'll be complete when, I'll be fulfilled when. But based on everything you've said, you really sound like you're kind of at I know where I am and I'm going to be grateful for where I am while I pursue everything that I want.
Yes. And I think I've talked about this with my executive coach once when she's saying, okay, you are, 39 years old, your son is a grown man. You don't have to worry about him anymore. You have proven yourself your whole entire life, your whole career, you've been proving yourself. What if I told you don't have to do that anymore? And now you're ready to just do. And I was like, whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then I feel like when people say I'm an expert or something, that always makes me giggle. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
If you work in healthcare, how can, who can ever be?
Yeah.
It's practice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that, I know that makes me feel good knowing, I guess, marrying my passion with my purpose. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, or I still say I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
But as long as in my work, I am helping to help people's lives be enhanced, whether that's team members, other people I work with, the patients we care for at the hospital, whatever the case may be, I want to add value to people's lives.
Yeah.
And so healthcare has been that for me, whether that's been, in the business side of the house, whether that's in sales and helping to expand with technology or whatever. I just want to be a part of that conversation. And then I also take great pride in trying to educate people in general on, the shift in healthcare, just as much as there's been a shift from, going to the hospital when you're sick to preventative medicine. Same thing in the patient financial side of the house. It's just as important to educate our patients about their billing things as it is on the, their clinical needs that they have to have done. So I love speaking about that so that it can make sense to people.
Yeah.
And then I realized too, when you said you have your inner circle of people, I call it my board of directors.
Sure.
And so it's my board of directors, and they are there. They're people that some of them have never even met each other in my life, probably never will.
Yeah.
I call some of them like angel mothers, people that were there for me, guiding me in things I'd never had anybody to talk to me about or, modeled for me. And so I go to my board of directors. Why? Because of what you said. I told them the most painful things that I cringe to even tell anyone, to say it out loud. They know that about me inside and out, so that's my gauge. Like, of course, I need to know myself what I need to do, but then that's like my temperature gauge. Like, I'm going to lean on these few people in my life to really get a good understanding and indication, because everybody else, of course, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't want yes men.
Yeah.
Like, you can be my hype man, but they'll also tell me if it's like, whoa, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But they're there when I do need that, and they know that I don't usually do that for myself, so they're like, woo,
Yeah.
But you have to make sure that the board of directors are not just yes men.
Yeah.
In any capacity.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Alicia, do you have anything else to share with us? Because I don't want to cut anybody short from anything else that you have to share. Is there anything else, or stories, or just advice, or any nudge of encouragement that you have to share with anybody?
I guess I would say just a few things in general. Of all the stories that I shared about my life and all the leaps of faith that I talk about, I never would be here today if I didn't make those jumps when it was like, oh, I'm on the edge. Like, I picture myself on the ledge and somebody just needs to come by and flick me off there. And I always end up somewhere better that I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know all the answers. It's a calculated risk. It's always calculated. But as long as I've done that, I have always come out better on the other side. And I just encourage anybody to do the same thing, because, whatever, like we talked about, the reason you're holding yourself back, it's just you doing that. So what can you do today? One thing to help you get there, and just dive in. Like, just don't hold yourself back. You only live once. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And as you said that, it really made me think that this podcast wouldn't exist if there weren't 3 leaps of faith in the room right now. Brian's here with us.
Yes.
He took a leap. You took a leap. I took a leap. I don't know how much more proofs of leaps people need.
Right.
But keep looking for them, because I promise you'll find them. Yes. And all the things that you're saying sound like they're chance. It's actually choice.
Yes.
And who you are as a person, all the choices you've been making have led you to more opportunities to then be ready to even have the opportunity to take the leap.
Right.
So I appreciate that about you. And talking about making a difference in lives, you're doing that every day. You first did it in your own, and then now you're doing it with everybody else. And I hope you just every once in a while kind of give yourself that, like, you know what, I am doing good things.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
sometimes I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, even if we can get to it sometimes, it's still better than most. And,
yes.
But I appreciate you being here. I know everybody listening is going to love everything that you poured into, and just you sharing your heart and your mind with everybody here, and your story is extremely admirable. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate your courage and your vulnerability in your own life, but also then to share it with the rest of us. So thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So proud to be here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed every single second of that conversation, that intentional conversation with Alicia. We are, this is going to be a 2-parter for sure. I don't even know how long we went, but it wasn't long enough. And I appreciate all of you listening, and all of you kind of taking a look at your life to look at where do you need to be more vulnerable? How do you kind of show yourself more to other people so that then you can feel seen by those people that you allow them to see you? Be more vulnerable. Take that leap. Again, we're all in here, just examples of leaps. Maybe it's leaps of faith. It's belief in yourself. It's also remembering who you are and the impact that you have on the people in your life. And I'll remind you, like I do on every single episode, that you always have the power and the choice, 1, to take a leap of faith. That's an addition. But 2, to always reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until that next episode, never stop.